Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, hi, I'm Melody, and on this channel I like to discuss fragrances. Today I will be sharing some fragrances that I have on the chopping block. If that's something you're interested in, please keep watching. So it's been a while since I've recorded, so forgive me, I feel pretty rusty doing this again. It's been a kind of chaotic time. Ellie got out of the hospital and she's doing really well. And we've just been enjoying the summer, but I just sort of ran out of time to record, and then things just slept away from me and I got off track. So now I'm back. I have a recording schedule planned out and I'm really looking forward to making some more videos. So I recently did a declutter of my fragrances. I will be filming that video soon and putting it up, but I had some fragrances that I wasn't really sure how I felt about them. It wasn't a definitive declutter. So these are the fragrances that I have on my chopping block that I will be testing over the course of the next few months to see if I really love them and I really want to keep them, or if I really do in fact want to declutter them. So let's get going. Here I have Jean Paul Gaultier's Classique Essence. I found this tester bottle on FragranceNet recently for a really great deal, and I know that this is discontinued, so that's part of why I don't want to get rid of it. And I actually do love the scent, but sometimes I find it a little too heavy and even, I would say, a little vintagey to my taste. I think it's the orange blossom. It gives it this very vintage style to it, and so I feel like it has a time and place. There are times I really enjoy it, but it's a large bottle, and I know this is such a well-loved fragrance. I'm not sure if I want to keep this just because it is discontinued, or if it would be best suited in the hands of someone who absolutely really loves this fragrance. So I do want to test it out a few more times. I don't want to waste a whole bunch of the juice if I'm not really going to enjoy it, but I do still want to give this a few more tries. Another Jean Paul Gaultier, this is So Scandal. I got this because people said that it smelled like the Linter D line, and I kind of see where they're coming from. A lot of people say that the Linter D fragrances have like this grapey note in them, but I actually don't tend to smell that at all, which is great because I hate that note. But in this one, I can smell that grapey quality. It only lasts on my skin for like less than a minute, but that beginning is pretty tiresome, even though it doesn't last very long. It starts to smell much better after that. Really, at that point, it's only okay. I don't know. I go back and forth. This was in a bin to be decluttered, and then I took it out and I tried it once and I went, oh, it's okay, and then I went and put it back in the bin to declutter. So this one is definitely one of those higher on the chopping block. Next I have Guerlain's La Petite Noire Eau Fraiche. This is the only one that I've kept. I had the original and Black Perfecto, and both of those, that sour cherry note was so sharp to my nose, and then the rose, there were just something about those fragrances that really didn't sit well with me. Once they started drying down, they were nice, but I really hated the openings of those fragrances, so I decided to declutter them a while back. I'm pretty sure I have a video on it. But this one I got because everybody was talking up how great it was and how fresh and light and the great pistachio note, and to me, it has that same opening. It is fresher, it is lighter, but it still has that sharp sour cherry that I can't get with. Like, there's something nice about this fragrance, but I feel like we're halfway through summer already, and I don't think I've picked this up one time. So I don't know. This one's probably going to leave my collection. Now these next four are all ones that I've tested multiple times in stores. I've had samples of them. I really wanted them in my collection, and I got them, and now they're bothering me. So this one, Juliette Has a Gun Vanilla Vibes, I got in that vanilla sampler. Maybe part of the reason I got it was this was the best value, and maybe that played a big part in why I chose it. If I had to go back, I may not have chosen it, but I have several other vanillas that I really enjoyed. that were better suited for, fall and winter. And so I thought, what a great deal of vanilla. That's perfect for the summertime. However, I've just found that I'm not a fan of those salty vanillas. I never like the Olympias. And this one, while it's not as cloying. There's something about it that I just don't like. It still feels kind of heavy and bothersome to me. I have worn this twice this summer, and neither time was I wowed or impressed or really anything. It kind of just smells like sweaty skin to me. I want to love this. I kind of feel like I missed out on a good opportunity to get another vanilla fragrance that I would have enjoyed more. So that's a bit disappointing. But anyhow, I'm gonna give this another shot this summer and see if I can't make this work layering it with something. But otherwise, this will probably be going. Here I have Jo Malone Scarlet Poppy. When I first tried this out in stores, I fell in love with it. This was like the only Jo Malone scent that I really loved, but I was concerned about its longevity. And so it had me apprehensive paying Jo Malone prices for a fragrance that wouldn't last. So I wound up getting this used bottle on Mercari. And when I got my bottle, it smelled greener than I remember the tester bottles being. I've tested this at multiple stores, and so I was surprised at how kind of fresh and green. It wasn't as deep as I remember it being on my skin before. However, I had this in my declutter bin and I pulled it out and I was noticing that it is that greenness that I was noticing when I first got it is kind of going away. So I feel as though it maybe just needed time to macerate or whatever they say. Time just to smell the way the tester bottles at different stores smelled. So I'm definitely going to give this a try, and I think this is probably really well suited for the fall time. So I will be keeping this into the fall, trying to see how I feel about it. But it is already starting to smell better to me, so I am really happy about that. But it's still one of those fragrances that is on the chopping block. These two are on my chopping block, and I'm very upset about it. Let's start with the original Burberry Her. This was the first fragrance that I absolutely fell in love with. I had to have it. It was my first fragrance in my collection. So I'm like really upset that it bothers me so much. It's kind of heartbreaking. It's like, your first love or something. This fragrance for me, I've mentioned this multiple times. There are days where it is so sour and unbelievably bothersome to my nose. It gives me an instant headache. And then there are other days that it smells like this really lovely strawberry berry cloud, and I love it. So this is a fragrance that almost every time I go to my collection, I sniff the cap and decide, can I wear this today or can I not? And I'm finding more often than not, I can't. I just can't wear this fragrance 90% of the time. And why would I keep a fragrance that I can only wear 1 out of every 10 times? It seems rather silly. But I'm really attached to my first fragrance. So unfortunately, I'm struggling with this one, but I do really want to keep it. So, fragrances last 3 to 5 years. So if every, few times a month I can wear this, I could probably get through the bottle, but I definitely don't think it would be a repurchase. But there's something about it that I really don't want to get rid of it. Now for Burberry Her Intense, and I got this one thinking, oh, it's not going to bother me as much. The berries aren't as sour or tart, but this fragrance, well, it doesn't give me a headache as much. On my body, I do love this scent. I love it from the cap. When it's on me, I start getting annoyed. Like it's on too long, or like it's bothersome, a little boring. I can't really place it or tell you why it is that this fragrance, I like it, but I want to love it. And I don't feel like while I'm wearing it, I love it. Sometimes I don't even really smell it after a little while. And then I'll get a whiff of it again and be like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm still wearing you. And that's really bothersome. Like I I don't know. I want to like this fragrance more than I do. I think when I first smelled it, I was like, ooh, that kind of has this like syrupy, almost soda-like quality. It doesn't have the effervescence, like that bubbliness to it, but it has that like almost like root beer or Dr. Pepper like syrup kind of scent to it. And so I've found that I really like that. But I found other fragrances that I feel like have that similar vibe, but are just done way better. So this fragrance, it's also discontinued. So that's probably why I don't want to get rid of it. I know that if I change my mind later, I can't get it, or it's going to be really, really expensive. So I'm holding on to this, hoping that I change my mind. And it could just be the season. Honestly, I've only worn it a few times, and I really didn't start wearing it till the springtime. So I purchased this right after the holidays, and then I got COVID and I couldn't smell anything for like well over a month. So we were like right in the middle of spring when I could finally start wearing it. And I think this is probably more suited for fall and winter, and I think maybe I'll enjoy it more then. So I do want to give all of these fragrances a little bit more time to see how I feel about them. I think these are all quite beautiful fragrances. Some I want to work better on me. Some I feel like I just haven't been testing them in the right season. I want to give these some time to really see how I feel about them. So that's what I have on my chopping block. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I would love to know what you think of any of these fragrances, or what you would do in my position. Do you have any fragrances like this where you want to love them but you just can't, and you don't want to part with them? I would love to hear from you. And if you're enjoying my content, I would love it if you would subscribe. I hope to see you again. Have a blessed day. Bye.